All right, so I'm uh, doing something a little different. I'm going to be discussing and playing a deck that was posted up in the Sanctimonious Discord. This is Tyler's deck. He's a relatively new player to Keyforge, I believe. If that's not the case, I apologize. And the deck here is looks pretty interesting. Aurora has played it and posted a video of a couple games that she played, and I just thought it would be interesting to give a different play perspective as well. Um, Very quickly, just giving a couple quick examples of what I think is interesting about the deck. I think the real key to the success of this deck is going to be autoencoder. Um, uh, there's some anti synergy within this deck, particularly things like standardized testing, Spirit's Way, because there's a lot of big creatures, a lot of so there's a lot of want to control the board, maybe do some fighting to capture and things like that, and uh, those kind of cards are going to kind of hinder that plan. But if you're able to discard and archive off of that discard, that's great. It's got a Cyberclone. I love Cyberclone. It's able to get around destroyed effects, take down really troublesome creatures, and it's got a Deus, which again, not a lot of archiving outside of that autoencoder. So getting that autoencoder out, being able to archive, I think is going to be the key, because then you can have a better shot of getting that Deus out and alive. But yeah, I think this should be a fun deck. I don't necessarily think this is like a Vault Tour level deck or anything like that, but definitely a deck that could probably be taken to a local, to a chain bound, things like that, and probably have some success. It's 61 SAS, but right now Mass Mutations SAS is all over the place. So I think this is going to be a pretty fun deck. So let's try to get a game going. Um, let's see if we can get someone. So the enhancements, it's got double damage on It's Coming, a draw on Shrix, and a damage on Gladiodontus. Um, so it's got some, uh, and again, it has some sort of less than, uh, fission power is not going to be a whole lot for. We've got our opponent here. Let's see what he's going to bring to the Crucible. Um, few other, while we're waiting for him to pick his deck, a few other things that kind of stand out here to me. I really like the Cleansing Wave, especially since this deck does seem to want to do a little bit of fighting with the enrage of Baranon the Seeker of Truth that has the fight effect, the Lieutenant Gorgonal who wants to capture off those fights. So there should be some advantages off of that. So there's some really nice things here. It's just a matter of seeing how it plays. Taking some time to find his deck. All right. We can. He's having to deal with a childcare issue. Well, we'll go ahead and just pause for a second while he waits. All right, so we have our decks here. We are ready to go. So Scott Tuba here has brought Agerson, the Vaguely Grateful. Let's see what it's got here. It's got Free Markets, Gizelhard Standard with triple Bulwark, double Champion NFL, Lady Lorena, some Axiom, Saurian Egg, High Priest Torvis, Key Frog, Reclaimed by Nature. That Reclaimed could probably do some damage to us in a Fangtooth. So that combo of that Fangtooth and that Key Frog could be a little problematic for us because there's a good chance that given the right configuration, this deck might be able to forge when we don't want it to. It also has a punctuated equilibrium. Those 3 Song of the Wilds are a little not great for it. Doesn't seem to do much. They may be enhanced, and that could do something for it. So we'll see. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and mulligan this because really, I'm really trying to search for that autoencoder. I did not get it. I did get a bunch of removal to start, so that's not a bad start, honestly, for me. We're going to go ahead and go into Sanctum, Spirit's Way. That gives us 2 amber right off the bat. Lance does nothing for us. Bring out that font. Perfect. We got our autoencoder here. Yeah, all right. So go into Logos. I'm going to play standardized testing, drop that down, I'll play out the autoencoder. I'm going to discard opposition research, mostly because at the end of this turn, he's going to be down to one Sanctum card, and it's going to be a fighty Sanctum card, so I just don't see him that doing us much good, and it's going to, we're going to have, it'll be better for us to archive. We'll get the Professor, and we're going to purge there. We could capture with Font if he had any Amber, but he doesn't. That's what I was hoping not to see. He just reclaimed by nature our autoencoder. So that's going to slow down this deck quite a bit. And he just punctuated. I was having a discussion earlier today about sometimes punctuated equilibrium. It's a, I think it's a really nice card, but sometimes it actually hurts you as much as it does your opponent, because like one of the things it does is it really disrupts your opponent's ability. Obviously, if we had had autoencoder out, that would have been a great turn. But it just gave us It's Coming and Deusilius, plus two other Saurian cards. So this is just an ideal Saurian turn. Can't quite kill anything, but it doesn't matter. I think we want to take down keep doing damage there. And we could exalt. I don't play that much with Deusilius, so he does do 5 damage when he comes in. Yeah. So who do I want to do that damage to? I think I'm going to do it there. And then we'll go ahead and exalt and kill him. And then, again, because Deusilius has captured everything, there's nothing to... Nothing for the Font to do. So we played 2 Song of the Wilds. So he's going to gain 3 Amber off that single Reap. Which is a pretty good... It's pretty good. Oh, and he gets to draw a card because of my Professor, so... It's not a terrible turn there. His Pismire doesn't do much because I have more mutants out. I think we're just going to go back into Saurian. We will, I think, Curse of Vanity here. I'm going to put it on Gladiodontus and Cephalogist, however you say that. He will die when I Reap with Deusilius. Start there. Get to draw a card. It's a little unfortunate. Actually, because I drew Beware the Ides, I'm going to instead fight Lycosaurus into Pismire, and then Beware the Ides into Bulwark. And then play out a Pterodactyl, and capture onto Pterodactyl. So we get our first key. I think this time we go into Logos. You need to remember this is he's a 5 power with 2 armor. Fission Bloom doesn't do a whole lot in this deck. If we had Autoencoder out, I would just discard that, but Autoencoder is sadly in the purge pile. So we'll play out a Cumex, play out a Munchling, play out a Research Smoko. I'm going to Reap here and Reap here. Yeah, that didn't really... It got us into check, but didn't do much else. Got a lot of Sanctum cards. I'm not particularly keen on playing Sanctum. Okay, so we have he plays out a Strix to steal, and now he's gonna... looks like he's... I'm actually surprised he didn't Exalt there, and to ward all 3 of those, especially with Deusilius being able to do damage across the board. I mean, even if I just Reap with Deusilius, it does Exalt him, but it's not that, that's not that bad. More to the point, I can just kill the Senator with Gladiodontus, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into Saurian. I'm going to fight here. He dies. And we'll go ahead and kill the Dark Centurion as well. Then I can Reap here. It's going to do damage across the board. Gives me my Monument to Strix. Allows me to further Exalt his Strix. I've got Skirmish there. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to just Reap. Remove his stun. And then I'm going to drop an Amber on Pterodactyl. So I'm up to 8. He's at 4. He's at no keys. I'm at 1 key and 8. So I'm feeling pretty confident right now. And the board state is definitely in my favor. I think, yeah, I think here we go Sanctum. And the reason is, one, we're just loaded with all these Sanctum cards. Two, we're going to fire off this Cleansing Wave for 3 Amber, which is a pretty good Cleansing Wave. It's, you know, I've seen 11 Amber Cleansing Waves, but I'll take 3. Can't really get any more. He is going to Forge, but we can also Burning Glare and stun something. I'm not going to stun every mutant creature. Again, I just have way too many mutants out. But that'll put us up into check for key 3. So that's just a much better place. I could have he can steal with Shrix, so let's just go ahead and stun there. We didn't do anything with our with killing any of his guys, so we can't use the font. And yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape here. I didn't see anything in his list that could really kind of come back from a position like this. I've seen people come back from positions like this. I've done it myself, but it's, you really need some kind of special, something special to be able to pull something off like this. So I'm feeling pretty confident here. So I think he's just trying to figure out if he has any response to get me off check. Let's take another look at his list. You know, as much as I love the TCO, I will say it is a bad habit to re-examine people's lists during the game, because during an actual match you wouldn't be allowed to do this. But it's nice. It's nice to be able to do this. I don't see anything here that can really do much. He's in Untamed. He can punctuate, you know, but there's nothing. He's got nothing in there. Yeah, it's over. GG, good game. Not even a good game from Scott. Scott's one of my oldest friends, so it's totally fine. All right. He wants to. He just messaged me. He wants to play another game, but with a different deck. So I'm gonna set up a game here. We'll do one more. I'll lock this in. And he's got to load in some enhancements and stuff like that, so it'll take a minute. I'm going to pause again. So while I'm waiting for Scott to rejoin us, I just wanted to pull up the deck that he played on SAS. As you can see, it's 7 points higher on SAS. I personally just don't see it. I think the deck that we played is like a significantly stronger deck. I mean, it has these three Song of the Wilds, but not enough Untamed or Out of House play to make those worth it. The Legacy Glimmer, I guess, is kind of nice. Glimmer's not that great of a card. It's nice to be able to pull something back. Maybe the Pitsmere against a different set would be nice. But there's just, and it has, quite a bit of anti synergy itself. So Fangtooth and Saurian Egg, for instance. It's got a lot of low power creatures with that Fangtooth. I don't see what, 68's not that high, but 68's a pretty decent deck, honestly. And the deck the 61 that we played just was a class ahead of it, and I think that kind of showed in the game that we played. Certainly a 68 SAS for like Worlds Collide, AOA. Some of those can actually be very competitive decks. So, and that's where deck evaluation, I think, becomes much more important. And so Scott has made it back. So looks like we are good to go. Let's see what he's brought for us today. Winter Woodbury's Grandparent. I love that name. This looks like quite a bit of a step up. So we've got a Matter Maker, a Lord Invidious, Sinistra, Grey Rider. Yeah, this deck has got some serious spice to it. So I'll be impressed if we can pull this one off. I think we've got a shot, but this one's going to be a lot harder than the game that we played just before. He's bringing a lot more spice than what he brought last time. I am going to go ahead and keep this hand. Again, we got that autoencoder to start. This time he doesn't have much. I don't see anything in terms of artifact control. So that is good. Some good luck here. And we'll go ahead and drop that autoencoder down. And I do think this is really the key to this deck, is getting this early and using that to set up the rest. So this is a good sign. Cyberclone might be useful to particularly purge things like, Sinistra would be a good one to purge, or Lord Invidious. I might actually hold this Cyberclone for something like Lord Invidious. Because I'm going to go to Logos, and I'm going to play Standardized Testing to get rid of that Sinistra and that Dark Minion. And I'm just going to drop a Professor Terato. I am going to hold Cyberclone. Holding cards is always a kind of a weird decision, and that may not have been the right choice there. But it's Lord Invidious is such a like game-changing card that removing it from the deck would be ideal if we can do that. Okay, so he's... that was an interesting play. He wanted to clear out my... so he purged Demo Knight with the Imp Spectre and got a Bonesaw out to kill Professor Charito. I'll bring out a Lieutenant Gorvenal and just stun Bonesaw. I'm not going to hold Cyberclone forever. At a certain point, if he doesn't bring out Lord Invitus, then yeah, it's just time to play out our... time to play it out. Interesting. Okay. So... yeah, I think we go Saurian here. And then we can whittle down, and oh, he's got the bonus power. And then we're just gonna have to discard and hopefully get back to these, because getting something like Deocelis is going to be kind of key to being able to hold off. Neither of us have had a really great start, I would say, to this game. We're both kind of having to play, you know, just 2 or 3 cards. It's, yeah, we're already on turn 4, and he's now up into check, but you know, this is a pretty slow start. Even with this autoencoder, the speed is just not happening right now with this deck. So, and probably chaining myself with that Cyberclone was a mistake. But here's hoping I can fix that a little bit. So, yeah, we want to go... we're going to go ahead and play that Cyberclone now. Get some of our amber back. Do not want to take our archives. I'm going to play there, and we're just going to purge that Explorer Rover. And play that. And I'm going to discard Opposition Research. Again, with 1 creature out, I'd rather get the archive. It's building to a little bit of a decent Saurian turn, or excuse me, Sanctum turn. A little bit of that anti-synergy is showing up though, because Fangs of Gizelheart would purge Gladiodontus. So that's gonna be a tough call. Really like to see the speed kind of pick up a little bit. So I mean, obviously with autoencoder I can discard it and I will gain a archive there. Oh, he's got an enhanced Grey Rider. That's just fantastic. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so we are at I'm going to go Sanctum. We are going to pull our archives. I'm going to do the Mighty Lance. Mighty Lance is 3 and 3, so it doesn't really matter. It's going to pop his armor, but and I'm just going to discard Fangs. Just going to lead us into a Cleansing Wave. That's actually pretty good. Font of the Eye, Baranon, and Seeker of Truth. So we're getting some board. We're still way behind on the Amber count though. So that is something we have to deal with. Depending on what he does, I'm probably going to end up going back into Sanctum just for that healing wave, which at current count is 4. And then reaps or fights. Probably reaps. We'll see what happens if he plays down a mutant or something. But that sort of amber gain should help us quite a bit. The Lethalogica should help us move through our deck a little bit more when we get back into Logos and maybe try to get into our Deicillus. Matter Maker is not what we want to see. Because now we can upgrade out of house. We have no artifact control. Okay, well, we put access denied on Baranon. That's a pretty good play. Because especially if he's not planning on playing any mutants, because when Baranon reaps, he captures 2. So we're going to go Sanctum. We're going to pull that archive. We are going to Cleansing Wave, which gets us to 7. And then we are going to reap and reap. We're going to fight Baranon into Bonesaw, which will kill them both. Lets us use our font. We'll font here. So now we've still captured and end turn. So as long as we're able to forge, we're now catching back up in the amber count. There's Lord Invitus. Oof. Lord Invitus captures a flint creature and makes him... Oh, this is so ugly. Oh, we forge, but we forge at a cost of 8. Yeah, so he's going to end up capturing a flank creature. Part of me... He doesn't have Logos, so if he captures Munchling, that's not that terrible. And if he captures Lieutenant Gorbanal, he's going to take Amber. That was captured from him, so... I think we're going to go with that. Do a diametric charge that way. Lethalogica. We're going to discard Lethalogica. This is actually a really good card now for us because Lord Invitus hopefully will end up in the center and we can just kill him. Play out a Munchling. I think I'm going to fight Smoko into Histrog, which gives us QMax in there. That's okay. And I'm going to put an Amber on Munchling. So my thinking here is that, again, if he uses Lord Invitus next turn, he's taking his own Amber with him. So there's at least some cost to that. He's got a Commandeer, so he's going to capture one for every Sanctum card that he plays. Ardent Hero. So I'm really hoping he centers Lord Invitus. A desperation play would be Spirit's Way, but that would end up giving him just a bunch of Amber. So that's interesting. He actually put Lord Invitus on the edge. That's actually more scary because he probably has disc creatures that he can drop, like 2 disc creatures, and then use Lord Invitus. So does mean we're going to hold the archive. We are going to go into Saurian. No, we're going to pull the archive. We're going to remove. We're going to remove. We're going to use the same principle that we used before, which is that keep things costly. So we'll bring out our Monument to Shrix. I'm going to discard Deusilius. We really would love to get Deusilius on this board. We're going to play Shrix. And we're going to discard Pterodactyl. The reason, again, behind this is that if I put Pterodactyl on the flank, I have nothing to make. I really want Amber on the creature that's going to be captured. Pterodactyl's going to come in stuns. If he captures Pterodactyl, he can just wreak havoc. And then with that autoencoder, I'm gaining an archive from that, and I'm trying to speed through this deck a little bit. Okay. So we got back to Cyberclone. This is actually a really good card for us here. Because we can take down Lord Invitus. And just remove that threat. So we can go into Logos, and yeah, that'll be really good. Again, this game is just a little bit like he's just keeping it a little bit out of reach. Oh, we're going to go ahead and drop Cyberclone. Take down Lord Invitus. Put a discombobulator on Cyberclone. I think we want to fight. We can kill Bulwark. We can kill either of these guys, actually. No, he's a mutant, so Ardent Hero will take no damage from Munchling. So, big advantage is the discard, honestly. So we're going to discard QMX, which gives us an Amber and archives a card. And then we're just going to play a Diametric Charge, which doesn't really do much, but gets us back into check. We didn't actually destroy anything, we just purged, so we can't use that. But again, we've sort of somewhat flipped the board states, and we've definitely captured our. We pulled ourselves into check, so I'm pretty content with where we are. This game is going to be close. I do think he has the edge. So I'm really curious what he does on this disc turn. Because if I'm right, he'll probably be dropping a couple of disc creatures. Oh, this is brutal. Because the Universal, he's able to drop the Universal Translator. Okay. I don't think we have a response. Yeah. This is going to be close. But he's going to win by 1 Amber. Shrix! I missed that! I don't have a Monument to Shrix in any of my decks, so Shrix is in my discard pile, so I can move 1 from any player's pool to Monument Shrix. Pulls him to 5, puts us at 7. That might do it. We'll see. Put our key costs at 8, and we have 7. I don't think we can respond here. Oh! I forgot about Shrix. The Monument to Shrix.